Yeah, let's shift gears and now look at another issue. I said Balaam Barugahara, the new minister in charge of children and youth, is the man of the hour. And he was sworn in as an ex-officio MP in Parliament this week. And again, quite rare, he was even allowed to make a maiden speech on the same day. Rare.
All of them. It was not only him, everybody was given.
And he emphasized his resolve to pursue a different path from courts or what we know to seek amnesty for the jailed NUP supporters. And I saw Honorable Barnabas Tinkasimire, a panelist here, contest that move. That look, we know how this is done. If a matter is in court, you let the court process take its course. If the NUP supporters have a case to answer, there's no way we can bring it here to Parliament and think we can have them get or regain their freedom. Dr. Jared Werewanzala, I request you to take the first shot. What do you make of this? And we saw it when a gentleman from Masaka, known as Katerega, was taken to State House. He told President Museveni, Mukama wange, tuyambe osumurule abasibe. Yes, the president has that presidential powers. Pardon, yes. But Balaam Barugahara now is the man.
First of all, I want to begin by congratulating him upon making it to cabinet. I saw him very excited, almost shouting, "Oh yeah, I'm a full minister now." So I was just laughing. But then, for me, I saw Balaam's gesture. It's not the first. When the Honorable Norbert Mao came in, and in fact, he started that online exchange with the NUP even before coming to cabinet, urging for negotiation. And then the NUP people were saying, you know, negotiation at this moment cannot work. Let the legal process work. If people truly committed the offenses, let them be tried very quickly. And then we can know if they are guilty or not guilty. And if there is a prerogative of mercy to be exercised, it must come after someone has been tried and sentenced. But when Mao came in, he said, you remember his meetings with the LOP then, the Honorable Matthias Mpuga saying we're going to negotiate. It did not stop there. We saw some powerful people, okay, by powerful I mean superior positions to Balaam, like the Prime Minister engaging with the leader of opposition. We saw meetings where the Speaker participated to mediate between Minister of Security, Office of the Prime Minister, and I was just surprised because for me a Speaker is number 3 in the hierarchy of leadership in the country. And of course when the Prime Minister is also up there, and the Minister of Justice is also up there, the Minister for Youth is down in hierarchy. But and I was just shocked that the State Minister now for Youth was saying that when I was in the committee, appointments committee, I was requested by the Speaker. So for me, for the Speaker to pursue this matter, and they say the President is also on video, he quotes a video which I have not seen, where he says the President is committed to releasing these people. For me, as an observer, I saw it as a very unfortunate situation because it exposes the head of state. One, that you are portraying the head of state as someone who does not respect judicial processes, who does not respect the human rights, and therefore these NUP people are his personal prisoners.
Who can stampede the
judiciary and just release, and therefore you, the Honorable Balaam, you are the one who can talk to this head of state or to go and release these personal prisoners of the head of state. For me, that was, it would have been a little bit smarter. The ideal thing is to ask is that, are these people really there? I think the list first was very big. It reduced up to about 18 people whom they can verify, because they found out that some others are either non-existing or they fled the country to go for jail. So that was proof that some of them are not genuine, some traveled, but there are some who they agreed on.
The latest list that was submitted to Parliament just 2 days ago is so long. It is 152 or 51.
That is the challenge. One, that's where I was coming. That one, are there people who disappeared or who have been arrested or jailed without trial, or those who are under military trials even when they are civilians? Yes, if they are there, that is okay. But the challenge we had with that was that there was initially, remember, the list had about 500 people. It went down, and at some point, it was almost putting the credibility of NUP under challenge, because when they discovered that some people actually in immigration and they exited the country from Entebbe, it means also your list has some faults. But let's assume they are there, especially the 18 they agreed on. I think it is important. We have here a court ruling before, in the case of Kiza Besigye, appeal that trying civilians in the court martial, in the military courts, is not illegal, unless these people are unconstitutional. So if there are people who were never found with a gun, never found with a military uniform, not in military stores, that's how they categorize them, what are they still doing in the court martial?
Thank you.
That is it. And then let the Honorable Balam know that there's a difference between being a mobilizer of PLU outside Parliament and Cabinet, and how you do work when you enter Parliament and Cabinet. Because the two, let him learn from
the last statement.
To resign and
your last statement makes it clearer. Honorable, what do you make of the direction this issue is taking with the new minister now? I don't want to use the same word Doctor said, looking to be excited about it.
He was happy, maybe.
Okay.
No, he was both. He was both happy and excited. I told you here that President Museveni is the master of surprise. And Balam must have been surprised being appointed. So it's right for him to be happy. You can see him extremely very happy and also excited.
He's okay.
And he has not been taken for any orientation yet. There has not been any retreat for him yet. So somebody to say is new to certain procedures is 100% correct. So he to already understand that thin management structure of the difference between the mobilizer and the minister in one day could be difficult. So he is going to change, obviously. He's not going to remain the mobilizer, but after some orientation.
Reality
will come in by rules of procedure of Parliament and whatever. Whenever there will be a lot of point of order and procedure until he will go into the line of being a minister. But what I can say is, why Balam? It is Balam because he's now the Minister of Children and Youth. Why does he speak about this? He managed to come with a certain counselor, doctor, whatever, in full NUP attire before the president.
Which is prohibited, actually.
Yeah, before the president. So, why can't he be the subject? He has to be. What are the people they are talking about? They are majorly youth. Why the president? Because he has the prerogative of mercy. More so, on presumably political prisoners.
These people are still on trial. When does the prerogatory of mercy from the president come in.
The DPP can even pull out that case.
Sure.
Yes, even when somebody is on trial. The DPP can recall that we have taken charge. And the PP is though in the judiciary, is part of the executive.
Doesn't that, in one way, look as if the president, the head of the executive, is infringing on the independence of the judiciary?
No. Has he done it yet? This is a statement of Balaam.
Okay.
Has the president done it yet? No. That is why presumably Balaam says, let me have the list. The list has to be screened. Always. You are saying that the list was 500. You have to forgive NUP for that. Because if other people had fled the country, NUP had no mechanism to know whether some of them were out of the country. So the list came running down, and came to the 18. The 18 are claimants of disappearances where they do not know where those people are. The list of 18 is different from the list of people in jail. There are those whom they know they are in jail but not being tried and whatever. But there are these 18, they are saying they don't know their whereabouts. But these others are known. So that's why you cannot expect if someone is bringing a list, is bringing a list of only 18. Because the 18 they are talking about, they have even checked in the...
They are in, actually it's indicated, this one is in Luzira, this one is in wherever. But
so if they brought again a list of 150 or whatever, that is also a matter of screening. But the president has not pronounced himself.
So you think this issue is on course, is on the right course?
Doctor has just mentioned here, when the Constitutional Affairs Minister, Norbert Mao, had just been appointed, he was on the same track to see that most of these youth who are in jail, most especially due to political reasons, could be released. But it was to Buroka. So once something has come, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of the Presidency, and the powers that be come together and discuss and say A, B, C, D, these people should at least be released. Even if the matter is in court. Doesn't that
make the matter qualify as a political matter and the jailed NUP supporters political prisoners?
That's what it would.
If it takes that course.
That's what it would presuppose. But what is NUP pursuing? NUP is also pursuing for a discussion, a negotiation to have these people out.
All right, Richard, talk about this.
Because
issue.
if it is after a negotiation, a discussion between the parties, then it doesn't qualify as a political because it has just been agreed upon. So there will be a modus operandi of how these people shall be released.
Richard, I've looked at the list of the so-called missing people from NUP. Most of them are on capital offenses, terrorism, found with military store, all those cases. But now they are in negotiations, and Balaam is the man of the hour.
First of all, maybe they are no longer missing people. Because you see, my comments some time back on this matter was that the NRA should not be accounting for missing people who there are strong allegations that they are the ones responsible for the disappearance. People disappear anywhere globally. In fact, if you look at the statistics, you have many disappearances in the most democratic countries. Sometimes without a trace, sometimes with the traces.
Like China.
Later on. So yes, disappearances happen. What I was saying was, it should not be under the superintending of the NRA. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing to the disappearing. Now, so now we seem to have moved from the disappearing that the people have actually appeared, but they are incarcerated. So we moved away. So for me, this disappearing thing is what I was. That's what I was most
tormenting.
Absolutely. But how do we reach here? How did we reach at disappearances? Then there is the second matter of the numbers. So we keep, what numbers? So we are talking about the numbers of who? Of the ones who are in prison. Are they all presumably NUP supporters? Does NUP have a supporter register that we are relying on? So those are some of the other issues.
No, I think the circumstances which led to their disappearance or detention connect them with NUP.
And with FDC.
Because yes, some of them
with FDC.
Some of them have been arraigned in courts for putting on NUP red berets.
Some of them. How many are those? Are they 400? Are they 150? And you see, so when we are talking about this debate, let me tell you for me the context of the debate. Every attempt to make this debate legal is for me correct in as far as legalese is concerned. And that's where I would agree.
Who is making it legal?
That's to the extent that I would agree with Dr. Werike, that he is asking pertinent legal questions. And so for the legalese, if we look at this from the legalistic lenses, Dr. Werike is perfectly in line. I do not want to tie myself
with that.
To
the legalese
aspect.
Because there is no NUP person who went on the street or who went or whatever because of legal reasons. No, it was
political reasons.
So for me, I insist that to dissolve this impasse, we must have political goodwill and input. For us to sit and say, politics go on the side, this is, no.
What have the legalists done so far for the 3 years?
This is political. The genesis is political. The solution must have political inclusion and elements in it. And therefore, the political players must be central to making it possible for the legalese to happen. If that does not happen, we shall have political people detained with all kinds of holding charges. Because you can do that, we know. If you have political reasons to hold people, you can hold them on all kinds of that's the first one. The second one, I think it is extremely politically important for NUP to have these people incarcerated.
Oh,
absolutely.
When they have actually
then
done everything here.
So then what is
to have them released?
So no, they have not done everything.
No, they have walked out of parliament, threatened that they would lose their seats on the same matter, pushing for the release of their supporters.
No one is going to lose any seat for these people. No one is going to lose
It's unfair to say that they are beneficiaries
of
the
allowances kept
detention of their supporters.
Kept coming. This is grandstanding. Yeah, we are not going to ask Museveni to help us. This is grandstanding. If this issue gets off the table, what will NUP be pushing for now? What will the abuse and the clamoring be about? So the grandstanding is, I appreciate it. If I was on the other side, I would also be grandstanding.
They are now talking about corruption.
I would be grandstanding. That this gentleman who is my friend got an approved payment in 2022, and I knew immediately he got, I waited 2 years to quarrel. And even came and stood on TV and said,
that's what you call grandstanding.
Yes, and I say, I discovered. You are a speak who was taken by Basoga to discover the River Nile.
But Richard, if the legalese were the ones if we were to follow legalese, why, and some people are in prison because of putting on a military, why wasn't the doctor counselor who was taken
to State House?
Why wasn't he arrested?
He was in
so why wouldn't he use the politics to remove those ones who were arrested because of putting on those berets to be removed from?
But that's
the matter is a political question.
Exactly. From what I've heard from your submission, Richard, you're saying this whole issue from the beginning was a political issue. Matter. Yeah. So, but then I ask you, a political matter, but with people being held on charges of terrorism, treason.
That's what exactly I'm saying. Yes. That when you finish when you
and
resolve,
already in court.
when you resolve the political issues,
That will be quashed.
it will be legally. Then they will look for the legal provisions to deal with this.
To remove the matter of terrorism from somebody.
This is not the first time we are seeing this in Uganda or anywhere else.
So
in
you
the world.
confirm
Yes.
that these are political prisoners.
Apple.
In the courts.
Please confirm.
Apple. I am not going to sit here and have you plant words in my mouth. That one I'm not going to accept. I am saying the legalistic issue we are dealing with has its roots
Okay.
in political
politics.
contestation. If this political contestation is resolved and it has to be resolved politically,
Okay.
then the legalistic approach
So
is...
you endorse the path Baram Bargahara is taking.
By the way, I would be surprised if Baram didn't do that. The Honorable Mao came with the same promise.
But we should be asking him where, I mean, after 2-3 years now, as minister,
But we are not.
Where are the results?
But we are not.
We're not.
Instead, we are asking, we are criticizing and condemning Barugahara, who is saying, where Mao failed, I will try.
And Barugara will handle it politically, then the other will bring in the legalese of how to remove. The other will bring in the legalese on how to remove those
Let me read these messages and we continue with the discussion. Viewers, it is 0701, the number you can use to send your comments and observations. 0701 609906. Send written messages on WhatsApp and on SMS platform. Tell us what you think about the trajectory, the issue of NUP, the jailed NUP supporters is taking, and the quest to have them regain their freedom. Apollo and the panel, my opinion, Honorable Balam's appointment was entirely to play the politics, and I expected the release of the NUP members to be part of his agenda. Immediately he was sworn in order to show that as much as the opposition claims brutality of the government, that it can, through its agencies, handle issues the opposition has always deemed impossible to them, and in order to score politically. I am Abel Akampumuza Abel. And that is what I wanted to ask you. Do you see people scoring political, earning political scores from this thing? Do you see opportunism? Because that would be opportunistic in any way, because we are talking about human rights, a human rights issue. People have been incarcerated for more than 3 years. Dr. Gerard.
I think if you talk about opportunism, you have used a very correct word in respect to what Balam is saying, because he brought in a new dimension that was a bit different from what the Honorable Norbert Mao did. I think Mao thought he would use the
diplomacy.
Also being the head of the justice system, that he would use probably the Director of Public Prosecution and the courts of law.
And he did. I
to
think he
achieve
attempted.
that. He attempted, and I remember his negotiation with Matthias Mpuga caused Matthias problems. Because they said he decided to negotiate without the blessing of Kamocha. So what Balam brought in was that he's ready to stand surety for them, in different courts. So I have not seen a politician who says, or a minister who said, can stand surety.
Who can commit himself to that level.
So for me, the opportunism I see in that is that, yes, he wants to stand surety. If they are released, then probably he can win over. For me, he has continued to be a PLU supporter, a PLU mobilizer, that maybe he can stand surety and bring them on the PLU side, and he continues with the mobilization. But of course, on scoring political points, it may not have a serious impact, because they will say, after all, you are the same group that was jailing these people. But there's something that Richard talked about that I would like to really agree with, that by the government keeping this playing out on official platforms, forums like Parliament, the issue of the incarcerated NUP people, it keeps NUP some political life, because I don't recall very well
that is why
an issue on which NUP has stood since they became the leaders of opposition in this
Dr.
country.
Gerard,
I've not seen.
Dr. Gerard, if it gives NUP leverage, why would you then hold on to them and keep them in detention?
That is a question which you should ask the
He's
government.
asking him as if he's the holder.
No, I'm seeking your opinion
But what I'm
on
saying,
why would they really keep them
but what
in
I'm
prison?
saying, it is a reality. If I remember the key issues in this parliament that have been opposed, for instance, the coffee thing of Pinetti, it was actually the NRM MPs who were opposing the president. So since NUP became the leading opposition, I have not seen them substantially challenge government on anything except this matter of the incarcerated people keeping out playing.
Only that.
Are you suggesting that they are also gaining political capital, making political capital out of it?
I mean, now they have been quarreling. If Balam had not talked about the releasing these people, what else would NUP be talking about? They would be abusing themselves about the 500 million.
Yes, in fact, he has helped
But
them.
no, when he talked
He has
about
helped them change the topic.
the
Thank you so
platform,
much, our viewers. The president has powers only to pardon those who have been convicted, not those who are on remand or not convicted yet. I think this goes to you, Honorable, because you made a point on it. So human rights are given to us by the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution of Uganda. Let the institutions do their work. Honorable Balam should not play politics here, since 2026 is near, I beg. Thank you so much, Major Tim. Do you see opportunism playing out in this whole matter?
You see, I always
Pursuing political gains.
I always refuse to be pushed into the corner of opportunism. You see, everyone who takes opportunity is called an opportunist.
No,
So should we leave opportunities to go?
no. There is someone who you see is hell-bent to mimic a situation for his own political gain.
But why not? I do not understand why not. That the Honorable Mugore has an opponent in Kabweri. And that opponent goes and slaps a teacher for whatever reason. Oh, because the son is indisciplined or what. And the Honorable Mugore does not take advantage of that situation. Why? I would condemn him. So when you are in this arena, 2026 is here. The viewer has talked about it. You want to, in Swahili you say kukomboa, you want to comb all the nooks that you can comb. There is no guarantee that the people you have incarcerated for 3 years, when you release them, they will be yours. In fact, it's likely that they will be so bitter with you that they will go to oppose you even more. If you listen to Baram, by the way, people, I'm not sure are paying attention. He said we need to get them and rehabilitate.
Yeah, yeah.
But what is rehabilitation? It's probably Chankwanzi first, and then some money next.
Giving them some money.
So you know, so you need to understand that Baram sees an opportunity. I mean, see of vision, and he's trying to seize it when it is still here. And the NUP understand this, and they must therefore oppose it with all kind of legalistic and moral, because they are also milking the legalistic and moral opportunities against it. But for us not to kind of, you know, appreciate that this really is a political arena where these two are playing, and we want to say legal.
And the people are rotting in prisons.
That's why I'm saying, and you know, Apollo.
That's the matter.
Let me tell you, Apollo.
That
There are those who are rotting. They are still alive. In this process, some of these that brought these people, more than 100, lost lives. I don't know if you remember that. So these things we are talking about are reality. We are talking about reality. There are those rotting in prison. This one says you would rather leave them there until the law. That's the political stand I've taken. Because what you take is a political stand. This one is saying, no, I am seeing an opportunity to get them out now, and I convert them to my side.
between President Museveni and Balam Barugahara, who stands to benefit more from the release of these jail prisoners?
I don't know how to measure political gain. I don't have a minzani that this one is gaining 3 kilos and this one gaining 3 kilos. I think
No,
they both,
you've said
I think they both gain.
You've said if they are released,
Yes, both
there's,
of them
there's
gain.
no guarantee that they will be your supporters.
No, there is none.
They will
No, it's a risk you have to take.
actually love your government.
It's the risk you have to take.
So you can.
In fact, a lot of the people who joined the NRA were released from the prisons during Obote too. And immediately they were released, they went to the bush. So there's no guarantee that they will be yours. But it's a political risk you are willing to take. That it can give you a lot of dividends, it comes with risks.
Oh.
And the same as the NUP. The NUP worry that if these people are released, first, they will have no political issue. The most consistent political, I agree with Eric, that they have been talking about. By the way, you see it's being talked about here. It is the most played out issue globally. For all their platforms, the Museveni regime is a murderer, blah, blah, they still have our people incarcerated. So if they are now all out, you have less punch to market outside there, but you also have less punch. So it's a political issue, and for me, I think both groups are playing for political gain.
Thank you so much, our viewers, and we are entering the last 6 minutes of our show, and if there's a message here, I have to read it out and we conclude on this issue. Okay. Honorable, opportunism playing out clearly here.
Yeah, everybody plays the opportunism. I can tell you that the stance the former law put in Parliament about this list was also playing opportunism after he had realized in quotes that the powers that be are not happy with him. And then he managed to convince what he was leading, even to start moving out of Parliament, putting a stance, as we continued the normal plenary sessions without any ado, until they had to come back. So opportunism is always played either positively or negatively. Positively if it is for the entire benefit of the community, and negatively if it's for personal, for your ego. But sometimes also for your ego if you are
the pain is the people who are rotting in prison.
Yes, but they are being
3 years.
used. They are being, that could be because we are talking of the legalistic way. When people say let us go and negotiate politically, even the people who claim to be the ones that are against these people's being in prison come out and say no, let us use, why do you just remove them, release them unconditionally and whatever.
They are calling on the stakeholders to follow what is in the law, and somebody here in a message, I mean, challenged you to the legalese.
What is in the law is
of this fact.
What is in the law is
that look, the president cannot pardon people who are on remand.
I've understood that. And following the law, that's why they are still incarcerated. Yes, because if you want to follow the law, they will continue being incarcerated. There,
Politics.
and they are following the law because there is a court, there is what the president cannot interfere, so they are still there.
Politics is not fair there.
You see, releasing political prisoners, the other day, the president, they tried to release one person in Senegal and leave the one who was standing, but there was one day to end of nomination. And they just said, then you can't get nominated.
From prison?
From prison, he's president. So what he's telling you is correct. It's not correct that when you release people who are incarcerated, they are all going to be yours. Even after rehabilitation or whatever, they may not be yours. So, for me, what is my take?
And you give us a parting shot.
My take is that we should go and negotiate. There should be a proper conflict resolution mechanism. Dr. Besigye has been crying for that, whatever. That's why you have had all these dialogues. Once you have agreed on something, I'm a senior trade unionist, I tell you, what we call a collective bargaining. Once we negotiate something, even if it is within the law, we can negotiate something and agree that whereas the law says like this, but the situations that pertains us here as two parties, we must agree to this in order to have a win-win situation.
Good.
And after that, that is also registered and it becomes part of the law.
Thank you. Richard, finally.
The late Nelson Mandela, when the negotiations were going on and he was moved from Brombe,
Yes.
he was condemned by a lot of his colleagues as having been a sellout. In fact, he became president when he was still on the list
Of the sellouts.
of terrorists.
Yeah. Yes.
I think they invited him to America and they couldn't process his visa because he was still on the
On the
list
list of terrorists.
of group terrorists. They had to go do the political work. So negotiations are not evil.
You say they are okay.
They are not evil. We are dealing with a political situation which involves human beings. The Magere people, the NUP, are taking a stand that benefits them politically, and they have a point. The Honorable Barugahari and his move is also taking a political stand that benefits him. They all, however, converge in a legalistic way. The legal ways can be found. And for me, this game of chess or ping pong that people are playing involves real human beings.
Collateral.
Lives.
Real human beings. And this is what happens when political elephants fight.
Politics.
Innocent people really suffer. This is what is happening now.
Thank you. Dr. Jerry Wanzara.
I would like to agree that negotiation is key, but I would like to ask the parties to be as realistic as possible, as transparent as possible. Because in a negotiation where one actor or both actors are seen to be playing games, not being serious about the matter, the results usually are not good. Because you will not achieve much at the end. For me, I would want that when you negotiate and you're looking at the positive outcome, it has to be one that is sustainable. And this one of Balaam, it is a positive move, but I think it is it looks more of transactional, that yes, I will get the list, get the people out, but this is likely to repeat itself. It doesn't in any way deter from similar occurrences from happening again. Which is
so you think it's not an end in itself?
Because it is not principled. It is not principled. You know, the reason with opportunism is that you grab an opportunity regardless of the principles. You throw them away, but you are just.
So what do you propose going forward?
Well, for me as a Ugandan, I don't want any Ugandan to languish in detention. In fact, when Mao came, at that time I gave him a benefit of doubt. Said, oh, maybe they have been insulting him for nothing on Twitter. But I watched almost 3 years down the road, no result. So just as I've not seen his result on the transitional plan, which he promised us.
We must thank our viewers, and it's a pleasure having you on the show this morning. And specifically those who sent in their comments and observations. Thank you so much. And those who didn't do that, really we thank you for being part of this big discussion. Honorable Mugore, thank you so much. It's been a while, but it's a pleasure having you back on the show. Richard, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Today you came in hearted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling pain.
Dr. Jeda Wanzara, thank you so much. And well, we meet again next week, same time, same station. My name is Prince Apollo. You can catch these shows on YouTube channel. Go to Soul TV Uganda. You'll watch this show, a recorded version of this show, anytime, anywhere. Thanks to the production team and everyone there. Good afternoon. God bless you.